So Tyler asked me to do a case study, and I thought I would switch things up on him. And I wanted to talk to you guys about somebody that I barely ever speak about. Pretty much works for me remotely. And a lot of the people on my team don't even know that he works for me. But this guy has been able to help grow my business like no other. No offense to people on my team, but I want to talk about this a little bit. So after I flipped my first 2 or 3 homes, I was able to hire him. This was back in 2015. He still works for me today. At the time, I could just barely afford it, but I was able to hire him. I was able to make sense of it. He's super reliable. He's never called in sick once. Not once in the last 6 years. He's never threatened to leave my team, ever. He also has no problem working weekends and holidays. And he's been just a huge asset growing my business in the background. Nobody even knows of him.
Just yourself.
His name is 209 12th Street, and he lives in Osborne, Idaho. Get the joke? This wasn't the first rental I bought, but this is the first successful rental that I bought. I bought one in 2008. Didn't work out well. This was the next best thing. So this was back in 2015. He was an REO property at the time. Do you guys know what that is? Yeah. So some people say no. REO means real estate owned, and it's basically just it's real estate owned on the books of a bank or some other entity where it's already been foreclosed on, and now the bank owns it, and they hire a realtor to sell it. So I'm going to click off this real quick, and I'll show you the listing. This was on the market for about a year. It started off, I think, around $90,000. And then they had dropped the price all the way down to $33,333. It was being sold by IFHA, which is Idaho Housing. And I noticed this listing because it's just sold like 8 years prior to that. And it was just recently remodeled, and they did like windows and the roof and all these like real basic things that would, minimize your CapEx over time. But I thought it was pretty solid. It says it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. I found out later it was a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath after I bought it. But that's not the point. It was in decent shape. I would go over some of the photos, but the internet's kind of spotty here, so I'll just move along. So here are the basic numbers when I bought it back then. I was able to negotiate $29,250. It took 5 or 6 counteroffers to get that. And after the first counteroffer, the listing agent said, IFHA is not going to go below this. And so I countered again, and I just kept countering until they kept going down. Because they eventually kept going down. It was on the market for almost a year. They wanted to get it off their books. Even though they said they wouldn't negotiate, they negotiated a little bit. I got a hard money loan for $32,000. Now I still had to put a down payment down. I think this gal wanted like $6,000. But they were able to put about $9,000 in a rehab holdback account. I got a loan from my brother, Sean. If you remember, I asked you for $6,000 because I was broke. But I knew I had money coming. But I was able to get it done, and I did a lot of the work on this property. Sean came and helped me out a little bit. Jess Robinson came and helped me out a little bit, but I think I did like 80% of the work, which was, I do not do that kind of stuff anymore. But I was all in for $43,250 after the repair cost. I would show you the after reno photos, but it wasn't loading earlier. I did $14,000 worth of work, so imagine flooring and paint. And some drywall repair and stuff like that. Yeah. Painted the cabinets, that kind of stuff. What was that? Sump pump. Well, the sump pump was working fine. I did replace the HVAC. That was a big part of that. It was like $3,000. Anyway, that part's not important. What I want to show for you though is just over the last 6 years what this property's been able to do. So here are the numbers. As soon as I got it renovated, it took about 2 months for me to do it, driving back and forth from Coeur d'Alene to Osborne. The hard money payment was $328. $320 was interest, and $8 was the servicing fee from the title company. Utilities were about $100 a month. The management fee was $72. Taxes and insurance were $179 a month. That was kind of paid annually. It wasn't included in the loan, but I broke it down monthly.
So this is the numbers back then.
This was the numbers back then with the hard money loan. So with that hard money loan, I was cash flowing $227 a month at a 12% interest rate. I didn't qualify for a loan until a year and a half later. I had to pay a $600 extension fee to get that loan bumped another 6 months. But eventually in 2017, I was able to get a refi done. The property appraised for $84,000. And I was able to pull out, I think I did 70% of that, if that math makes sense. I got $21,685 in cash. Now, if you look back at the numbers, I actually invested $11,000 of my own money because I got the hard money loan for $32,000. I was all in for $43,000-ish. And then this refi actually made it possible, once I got this refi done, to buy my current house that I live in right now. Because what it did was I was able to pay off credit cards. We paid off my wife's car loan. We lowered our debt to income ratio, which is like the goal, like that's what you're basically going after when you're going after a loan. Credit can vary quite a bit, but mostly a lender when you're buying a mortgage, it's all about your DTI. And then this also gave me the down payment money I needed too for my new house that I live in. So it helped me buy this. I got it for $262,500 at the time, Coeur d'Alene place. Got an FHA loan with a down payment. I needed $9,100. I got paid $7,800 for buying it because I was a real estate agent. So I really needed $1,300, and that refi covered that too. Today it's worth $740,000. So thanks to that, it's worth $480,000 more than what I paid. Over the last 6 years, this property I've been able to tap into the equity with cross-collateral loans to buy 4 different flip properties, 2 BRRRR properties, and a spec build. So it let me buy over time, one at a time. It wasn't all at the same time. Do you guys, anybody confused about that, how that works? Everybody knows.
What a BRRRR property is. I don't even know. What's a BRRRR property?
A BRRRR, that's an acronym for buy, renovate, rent out, refinance, and repeat. So it's basically, it helped me buy 2 rental properties, and it helped me flip 4 properties and build 1 spec home, all with low or no money down because I was able to get good deals on these other houses over time. And instead of bringing that 20% that a hard money lender typically wants, even if you're getting a really good deal, they just put a second lien on this property because it had equity. Does that make sense? And I was able to use it again and again and again. You know, flip 1 property, the lien's gone, and it's freed up again. You can do it again. Also, over the last 6 years, tenants have paid a total of $61,200 in rents. I've saved approximately $39,000 in income taxes that I don't have to pay, thanks to that one house. And the actual net rental income that came into my bank account was closer to $16,000 or so over the last 6 years, just from the cash flow. This year, it helped me out again. I did another refi. So I'm burning it twice. And I got this done a couple months ago. The property, I haven't done anything to this since I was there last in 2015. It appraised for $230,000, and I got a very conservative loan, 60% loan to value. I got a loan for $138,000. The interest rate dropped again, 3.75. My new payment did go up pretty close to what the old rental amount was. I first rented it for $850 a month. Now it's rented for $975. And I haven't been bumping it up much. Just in the last year and a half or so, I think I bumped it up like $75, and then another $25 on this last round, or something like that. So it's still cash flowing. This loan, this refi, I got some magic money, and it paid off, obviously, the first lien, and it paid off this other lien too. This was on another rental I have, so it paid off another house, and it paid off another credit card. Also, I still had $41,000 left over that they cut me a check for after this refi to go spend on other stuff, which I did. But in more investments, which I'm not even going to talk about. But that's tax-free money. In case you're wondering, if you haven't done this before, you're taking out debt, it's tax-free. It paid off this house that's worth over 200 grand, and it's helping me buy a well drilling business. All I needed was that one house paid off for my down payment to buy a well drilling business that's costing over $1 million. And so I ponder. Do you think this is the end of the work for this house?
We get it.
That's all I got. What do you think?